And we are live. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the MMA UK Late Show. And tonight is our Stevie Ray retirement special. Stevie, thank you so much for joining us.
That's all right. All good.
It's lovely to see you, and we're going to be reflecting on the career of the Scottish GOAT. Yeah, it's an emotional one. I've got my tissues ready. Peter, thanks for being my co-host as ever. Do you want to introduce our sponsor?
Yeah, the MMA UK Late Show is sponsored by Fight Fuel. Fight Fuel is a supplement and clothing company founded by martial artists for martial artists and all combat sport athletes. The aim of the company is to supply supplements and clothing of the highest standard to all fighters and warriors so they can train, perform and win.
So, Stevie, thank you again for joining us. But you got me right in the feels this week. It was a tough one to watch. I mean, it wasn't that surprising because I guess everybody that knows you well knows about your knee issue, know that you had to pull out of your last fight, know that it's been plaguing you for years, but still very sad to see that announcement.
Yeah, even for me, it's quite. I've got mixed emotions about it. Part of me is really like relieved and glad, and when I announced it, when I went live and I announced it, it literally just felt like a weight off my shoulders.
Yeah.
Because I was back and forth with the idea. I'd spoke to some people. I spoke to James, a good bit about it as well. And obviously he knows some of the days that I was frustrated and had to take time off. And yeah, but obviously he doesn't get the kind of, like he'll be frustrated that obviously I can't train either. But and then I've got the mental aspect of it as well. Like,
yeah.
Kind of, like I remember before I officially pulled out against Mark Diakese, I remember sitting at home for a while, icing my knee, and this was obviously a few weeks even before I pulled, and I'm thinking, my knee's ballooned up, I can't train, that I have to take that day off, and then the next day came, it was still huge, and then I'm sure I've seen like videos of him doing strength and conditioning or hitting pads or whatever. And yeah, it's just a total gets in your head.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm so used to training as hard as I can. Like I always make sure when I was 100% physically fit, that was a good while ago. But yeah, I would always make sure I'd done everything in my possibility. I'd go to the track, I'd do sprints, I'd go swimming. I'd try and mix it up to get everything, full wrestling, all the MMA training, all the sparring, plus every kind of conditioning side of it. And the strength conditioning side of it was a kind of big important factor for me. If I looked good for the fight and I knew I'd trained good, then then I felt good, and then obviously I would fight good. I would have that confidence knowing that I've trained really hard and I looked really good. So it means I've trained hard.
Yeah, I think that mental aspect is so huge, like you said, even if you haven't seen videos of what he's up to, you're just imagining that he's beasting himself in the gym every day while you're sitting at home with your knee up with ice on it, not being able to improve. And, when you've trained for years, you can go in and with not a full camp and still put on a brilliant performance. Like, I know what you mean as well about the torn emotions. I was literally just saying to Peter before you came on, like, 1 minute I think it's really sad that it's the knee injury that's made you have to walk away from the sport before you're ready, but then on the other hand, you're walking away at the top of your game. Your last fight was arguably your greatest, one to have on your record, and not many people walk away on top.
Yeah, that's it. And to be honest, I probably wouldn't have walked away, off a win and off arguably the biggest win in my career.
Yeah.
Like you said, part of it's frustrating, part of it's like really depressing and rubbish, and but the other part of it, yeah, exactly, just looking at the positives, and that's the fact that, you know, it doesn't matter what anybody says, MMA isn't really good for your brain, if you say. It's maybe good, you know, it's maybe good kind of training and whatever else, but over a long term, getting punched in the head, you know, we've seen that it's no obviously good repeatedly getting punched in the head for years and years. And don't get me wrong, like, you know, if I could have kept doing it, I'd be happy. I think living a happy life and a short life is better than living a miserable and long life. But yeah, it's kind of is what it is. Like, if I can choose to have a healthy knee and keep fighting, then I would do that. But so yeah, I'm just pretty much trying to look at the positives, and that's the fact that, you know, I'm still healthy. I've gained a lot out of MMA. I've built a name, a reputation. I've made some money. You know, I've bought a house for my family, and yeah, so just kind of looking at that aspect. And now I also opened my gym a few years ago, so I've got my gym to try and pass on all the knowledge, and I suppose try and create some kind of old me. If I can take some troubled kind of people, guys, because I mean, I was getting up to no good, getting in trouble before I started MMA, and then my life completely changed. So if I can do that for other people, then that'll be amazing.
Yeah, 100%. Let's give that a little plug while you're talking about Braveheart Gym. Tell people where it is and how they can find you there.
Yeah, so it's Mitchelson Industrial Estate in Kirkcaldy. I've got a unit there. Yeah, just now I've got obviously nighttime classes. I'm going to eventually maybe add some daytime classes. But yeah, just now, like, I've got MMA, striking, BJJ, wrestling, and then if you want to come and just train for fitness, that's completely fine. You can come, you can hit pads, you can learn some jiu-jitsu, and then do jiu-jitsu. You don't ever have to do any sort of contact. You don't have to get punched in the face if you want to just come and hit some pads, hit the bag, get fit. You know, for whatever it is, I try and cater for everybody. So yeah, you can come to the gym if your kind of goal was to lose weight, then I'll try and do that. If you want to improve your fitness, or, you know, self-defense, or obviously, you know, the other kind of end that you want to come compete, then yeah, I'll cater for it all. And I've already got a lot of kind of different people. I've got guys that come to me that only want to do jiu-jitsu. So they only do jiu-jitsu, nothing else. Other people that just come, again, to lose weight, or maybe for physical or mental health. And then obviously I've got a squad of fighters as well. So
yeah.
Who should we look out for, Stevie, on the MMA circuit? Who should we look out for?
I've got a few. I mean, David Fell was probably one of my biggest prospects. He's not been training lately. I think he's got some kind of family things going on, like maybe some family members that are ill. So, and especially with everything that's going on, he can't really be coming to the gym and risking, you know, passing that on to kind of ill family members or whatever. So, yeah, David Fell, like, is one of the biggest prospects. He's 3-0 with me. Yeah, 3 fights, 3 wins, 3 armbars. So yeah, all stoppages. So yeah, hopefully he can get back to the gym when he can. He's got he's not too old either. I think he's maybe 25 or something. So yeah, he can go far if he kind of stuck it. Bradley Scott, again, another kind of young, 21, maybe 20. I started when I was 19. That was me completely starting fresh, no experience whatsoever, apart from maybe a couple of scraps in the street. And I think he's maybe 20. He's had something like 4 or 5 fights. some wins, some losses. And yeah, he's got a lot of potential as well. He just, for a wee while there, he was skipping the jiu-jitsu classes. So he's got really good striking, but yeah, he was getting a bit maybe skipping the jiu-jitsu, and it's probably because he's better at striking, so obviously he enjoys that maybe more. But yeah, he's actually been in. I've been doing some privates with him, jiu-jitsu. I've got one with him tomorrow. Him and Jamie Bennett, who's another guy that's young, only 20. He's had a couple of fights, and again, they just need to commit. Anybody that commits, and all you need to do is come to the classes. That's it. I mean, I've got the knowledge there to kind of teach you the stuff. We've got a good squad of guys. I mean, I've got. If everybody came at once, obviously there would maybe be over 50. But yeah, there's always like maybe between 15 and 25 kind of people at a class. And yeah, just I've got a lot of kind of prospects.
That's exciting. I would always say to anybody, you were talking there about beginners and even people who just want to do it for the fitness or whatever. I had never been involved in any type of martial art until I was 34, massively overweight, like getting into MMA training, and obviously then jiu-jitsu after that. But I would just recommend it. There's benefits from anybody doing it, like Stevie said, from if you just want to give it a go and do something to be fitter, you'll benefit from that, right up to if you want to be a pro fighter and learn from a UFC fighter. The hardest thing is walking through that gym door for the first time. So just do it. But
that's that. I think it always changes as well. I always remember a guy, a kind of friend of mine, or he's one of my kind of good friends, stepdad, Paul Leishman. I always remember when I used to say to him about coming along, and he was a wee bit interested for the kind of fitness side of stuff. And I was always saying to him, come along and train, and you'll like it. And he was right, a bit paranoid about like, he was like, right, I'm going to come along, but just for fitness, nothing else. No, I'm not wanting to do anything. I'm not wanting to punch or spar or anything like that. Just pure fitness. So he started coming along, and then next thing he was like looking, he's a bit intrigued. I think he was a bit surprised at how the classes were, because I think a lot of people that's maybe never seen a training session, maybe think that you turn up to an MMA class and you're beating the shit out of each other, which is obviously nothing like that. So yeah, then he was doing jiu-jitsu, and he's in his, I can't remember, 40s maybe. He's in his late 40s, I think. He's in his 40s anyway. And he was loving it, and then I think he ended up getting an injury that kind of stopped him for still doing it. But yeah, he kind of grew right in it, and that was one of the kind of good examples. What's that? Sorry, I was just looking at one of the comments.
Yeah. So Jamie Gardner said, I'd love to know, in all seriousness, is Robbie Frew the greatest wrestler you've ever had the pleasure of training with?
So
Robbie Frew.
Yeah, well, he's one of our kind of guys that come to the gym. He's a big wrestling fan, so he likes the wrestling. Robbie's one of the kind of good wrestlers. I wouldn't say, what's that? Is he the greatest wrestler? I've wrestled with a lot of good wrestlers. That's a lot more experience, but Robbie's.
Is he up there with DSP?
If he keeps training, he's too busy working all the time.
That might be the answer to our next question.
What's that?
Who is your GOAT?
Oh, who is my GOAT? I think the GOAT for MMA is GSP. Again, he's not been around for a while, so I just think he was the most all-rounded. like John Jones is obviously really good, but I think he's maybe, he's got a lot of kind of gifted natural stuff. Like he's usually got about 10 inches or 8-inch reach advantage on his guys, and yeah, light heavyweight is maybe not as dangerous as like lightweight and welterweight. So I'd go with GSP. He seems the smartest as well. He always knew how to. He might not even be the best like jiu-jitsu guy, but or the best striker, but he'd always just find a way to win.
For me as well, he's the only one who's in that conversation who's got no question marks around PD. Sorry, Pete, I always bring that up, but like he's the only one. So yeah, he's my goat as well. Peter, who's yours?
Yeah, well, it would have been Bisbing if he beat GSP, but he didn't. So because Bisbing bought all the cheats and all that, didn't he?
Yeah.
Obviously, he got John Jones in that conversation, which you've kind of led to. He's got a lot of question marks and all that to it. Mine would be Amanda Nunes. She'd beaten everybody.
Yeah. I think, just thinking there again, I'm sure GSP's only ever got 2 losses. Matt Hughes and Matt Serra, and he beat both of them as well. So I always feel like if you beat a guy that's beat you, it kind of erases the loss. So
but that's very interesting, because we're gonna come on to that when we're talking about your career. I was hoping. Well, Kieran Reid, wants to know if you're still planning on competing grappling.
It just really depends on how this knee goes. I mean, I've not done any MMA training. Tomorrow it'll be a month. Yeah, tomorrow it'll be a month. No MMA training at all. And my knee's actually a bit swollen just now. I don't even know how that's happened, because I've not done anything with my leg today. But yeah, it's weird. It's like my knees got bipolar. Some days, like one day it'll just be good, and then like I'll not even do anything, and then the next day it's rubbish. Like, and then the opposite sometimes as well. My knee will be swollen as hell. I'll go to bed and just wake up and it's fine.
You briefly spoke about like the surgery options, like when you were doing your live the other day. The chances of success aren't super high, I think, and the recovery's long, and just there's a bunch of reasons why you don't think that's a miracle cure for you, right?
Well, it would probably fix. It probably would have fixed my knee. But yeah, so it's called an osteotomy. I don't know if that's the right way I'm saying it, but osteotomy surgery, which is pretty much I went and seen a guy, Gordon Mackay. He's meant to be one of the best kind of orthopedic surgeons in Scotland, and he said, I went and seen him, and I was hoping like he would give me a miracle. Like I was asking him about hyaluronic acid, which is like a lubricant that you can get injected into your knee that helps all the. So I was hoping that would maybe help my situation, considering I think most of my problem is like arthritis type, like bone to bone and bone changes and all that kind of stuff. But he said that he had a feel in my knee, and he's like, oh yeah, there's a lot of kind of different bone changes and stuff in there, and he said that I'd be better going down to London to a guy, Adrian, I think he said, a guy Adrian. He's meant to be the specialist at that type of surgery. And he just said that it's quite a big surgery. Some athletes, I don't know if he said some athletes or most athletes, never ever return after it.
Right.
Yeah, that's them. If they're getting that surgery, that's them done. It's kind of like a knee replacement a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe not as severe. And it's basically where. So because I've had a lot of I've no cartilage in my left knee, so I'm pretty much bone to bone all the time. So when I'm walking, running, anything I do, my bone's grinding off the bone. And then because that's been happening and I've no cartilage, one of my bones, or maybe both, have grew longer. So they're touching each other more, and then I can't even straighten my left leg now because the bones are too long, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So usually you've got your tibia, you've got your femur, and then obviously your patella, the knee bone. And then when you straighten your leg, obviously there's a gap, but I've not got the gap, and then like it just doesn't straighten. So yeah, they would cut one of the bones, like saw the bone off.
Ow.
Yeah. And then I think they put like a plate up the side. They put like a metal plate up the side and then screws into the bone, into the top bone, the bottom bone, to kind of give it extra support, I think. Then after that, I think it's like a year's rehab to even be back doing something like running. Never mind punching and kicking and kneeing and wrestling and but at that time, you know, it wasn't a case of I was thinking like it's this or I'm gonna retire. At that time, I was just like, I'm not getting that. I'm not risking kind of that. And I was just like, I'm just gonna keep trying to do what I do, because I've done it for nearly 2 years. This isn't just a new injury. I think the first time it happened was the Jason Ayari fight. When like this, my whole UFC career, I've had 2 bad knees. The December 2015, I got knee surgery on both of them, my left and my right. But my knees were better after that. Like the surgery worked. My knee stopped popping out of place, and because it used to pop out of place, I had bucket handle tears, which means that, you know, the bone was popping out and it was out of alignment, and I would just straighten my leg, push on my knee, and it would crunch back in and make a horrible noise. So anybody that trained with me years ago, they'd probably seen me pop that in, and sometimes it would be 3 times in one session, and I probably popped that back in and out for a good few years, because I went to the orthopedic back then. This is the very first time, and I'm saying, look, my knee keeps popping out of place. I have to pop it back in. So I got an MRI scan. The MRI scan said my knees were fine. Nothing wrong with my knees. I think because it was an old injury, I think MRIs only really show something that's just happened recently. And yeah, I done that for years. I probably made it worse. And it came to a time where I seen the orthopedic, and I was like, look, my knee's screwed. I'm going to show you. Because I started learning when it would pop out. So anytime I sat down with my legs crossed, like how you would sit when you're at primary school or whatever, just with your legs crossed. And then I came forward onto my knees, it would always pop out. So I did that. I just did that in the appointment. I said, look, and then I popped it back in place. He heard and seen everything. He was like, oh yeah, there's definitely something wrong with that knee. So I didn't know what was wrong.
No shit, Sherlock.
Yeah, that's it. I didn't know what was wrong. I said, the right knee's fucked as well. I was like, and he was like, right, let's get you in. We'll get you, I can't remember the type of surgery, but basically they'll put me to sleep, keyhole, and then they'll find out what's wrong when they do the keyhole, and then they'll fix it that time as well. So I went under surgery and not even knowing what was wrong with my knee. And then when I woke up, he basically told me that I had 2 pretty big tears, bucket handle, which is the biggest cartilage tear you can get. I had both of them on both knees, and obviously he fixed them. But yeah, it all started just from that. Like, and then again, I've got my right knee done in 2016. My knee was fixed after that. My right knee's been good ever since. I've not got kind of as much problems anyway. And then the left knee I got done January 2019, I think. Yeah, January 2019. So almost 2 years ago. And it's just never been the same since then, before and after. But that's the thing. I went and spoke to the surgeon that done my surgery, Fraser Wade. He's a orthopedic surgeon at the Murrayfield Hospital in Edinburgh. And he told me when I went and seen him, he said, look, he had obviously seen my knee, the MRI, everything like that. And he said, I don't think this surgery is going to fix your knee. And he was like, in his kind of accent or whatever, Stephen, you have a really bad knee. Your knee is really badly damaged. Really bad. And I was just like, all right. And I was like, nah, I want the surgery though. I want the surgery. I had it in my head, the surgery is going to fix my knee. And he was like, look, I'll do the surgery and hopefully it'll help. But I don't think that's going to help. I'll do it anyway. So yeah, he done the surgery and, well, it didn't really work. It helped a little bit because it wasn't as bad, like, but and I got some kind of short-term relief. But yeah, it's never ever the same. And he told me then, he said, when I've got follow-up appointments, like, a few months later and then again, and he's just like, I was trying everything. I'm like, can you give me a cortisone? Can you give me this? I've heard about PRP injections and all that, and
stem cells.
Yeah, just everything. I was just trying everything. Like, if anybody's got knee problems, I'm like a knee expert now.
Anything that people say on Joe Rogan.
That's that. But he basically told me that this is 2 years ago. He said to me then, he said, your knee is so bad that you need to start thinking about doing something else with your life. And back then I was just like, fuck that. I was like, I'm a fighter and that's it. That's all I'm gonna do. And he was like, right, so what I'll do is, because this is even after that, he's like, I'll give you a cortisone injection, but this is only going to be a short-term fix. It's it's like a painkiller. Eventually it's going to wear off. And I think there's meant to be research that actually eventually makes your knee worse as well.
Yeah, and I think also the fact that it is blocking out the pain and you're training on something that's not really there, you're kind of making it worse the whole time that you're training through the pain.
Yeah, and you can, and like you said, you can maybe even make it like you could tear something and not even really know.
And not even know,
so yeah, but I was, that was it. I couldn't really fight or do fight camps without getting all this help, the hyaluronic acid, the cortisone. So I was just like, just do it anyway, and hopefully it helps. And yeah, every time I seen him, he just kept telling me how bad my knee was. And
I want solutions, Doc.
I didn't really understand back then though, because everybody was always asking me, what is it that's wrong with your knee then? Is it like your ACL? Is it your ligament? Like, is it your cut? Like, what is it? And it's just the bones. The bone, like, nothing to do with my ligaments. My ligaments are fine. I've no cartilage, so it's not that, but it's just my actual bones. I've got bone spurs. Osteophytes they're called. So that's like loads of little bones growing on the bone. I've got a thing called an edema, which means that I've just got fluid coming down my whole leg. So like sometimes my shin's like a water balloon. I even remember I used to be able to like push it up. I would push on my shin and you would see it. It was just like pushing on a water balloon, like just coming all up my leg. And and then okay, mind what else I was gonna say. Basically just my knee's fucked.
Is that part of the reason you started Braveheart MMA? Did you have like one eye on what you're going to do when you retired?
Nah, to be honest, so I started Braveheart MMA when I lost to Felder at Glasgow. I was with another manager at the time. Before I signed with Ali, I was with another guy that was a bit of a fucking
dick.
Yep, exactly that. I'm not naming any names.
Give the best advice.
I'm not naming any names or anything like that, but yeah, he advised me. He's like, look, it's better if we go into free agency. We go into free agency, we can get more money, which is maybe right, but I never ever knew that I was risking my job if it didn't go my way. So, you know, I just thought, you know what, I'll risk it. If it's a case of I get more money if I beat, like a lot more money if I beat Felder, or a little bit less if I lose to Felder. So I thought, fuck it, let's risk that then. And he was obviously giving me all this advice. Then obviously I lost, and the UFC were like, well, we didn't know if we were re-signing you. So I think I waited like 3 months, which maybe doesn't seem that long, but when you're sitting twiddling your thumbs after you've just been knocked out in your hometown and in front of like thousands of people, when I'm already depressed about that and no knowing what's next and if I'm even getting a... So I was like, fuck, I can't wait around forever and wondering what's going to happen. So just not even so much for the money, more just for like staying busy. Gary Patterson at Arena Gym, the gym I go to in Kirkcaldy, he was like, why don't you start doing some classes just in one of my studios? Or I maybe asked him, I can't remember which way it was, but yeah, he basically allowed me to start doing classes in the studio at Arena Gym in Kirkcaldy, and then, you know, that's how it started, in a wee room. It's quite funny if I look back, because it's just a wee room with a couple of mats, and maybe six people, and then yeah, it just got quite popular, you know, everybody was coming, and then I moved from that room to the bottom of the gym. I eventually convinced Gary to give me the kind of bottom of the gym, and then obviously to the place I've got now.
You also did Arena Fighting Championship, didn't you, with Gary as well? Where you had a lot of your fighters fighting on as well.
We spoke about doing a show. We done that. It was all right. It's no bad for a first
brilliant
show, you know. Kind of ups
brilliant
and downs. So yeah, we'll maybe eventually get back to that. I just seen him again today. He works offshore as well, so he's been away for 6 weeks or something this time. So I could maybe even speak about doing another show and stuff. Once the world gets back to normal a little bit.
Yeah, whenever that is. I just want to go back to a few of the comments, because I am going to try and get to as many of them as possible. So keep sending in your best moments from Stevie's career. But Chris Gadden says, hi Stevie, been watching you since the Bama days. Fond memories of that boiling hot night CWFC when you won lightweight tournament for the title. Good luck in whatever you choose to do in the future. And then,
so was that a question? I don't know.
I think it was just a comment.
Yeah, it was a tournament, wasn't it? You won the Cage Warriors 2 fights in one night, wasn't it?
Aye, that's right. So the tournament was... who was it all? It was
you fought my teammate in that tournament, Sean Carter.
Oh yeah,
early on
in
the tournament.
Sean Carter, Jason Ball, and Ivan Butchner. Ivan Butchner. No, Sean Carter wasn't in it. Sorry, it was somebody else. Sean Carter ended up replacing Ivan Butchner because he was injured. Because he already won a fight that night as well, so he was like a reserve. I can't remember the other guy that was in it, but yeah. So I beat Jason Ball first. Beat him by decision. I won the 2 rounds, so got that. And then Sean Carter. I think I rear naked choked him in round 1. Won the title, and then I eventually lost it to Butchner, and then won it back when I fought Kurt Warburton, and then I had the kind of trilogy stuff with Warburton. Let's
talk about that while we're on the subject, because that was probably the first time that like loads of people were watching you for the first time, and that was like such an epic rivalry. What have you got to say about that rubber match?
So, I mean, going through the whole 3 fights, I mean, I remember the first fight at Bama. He beat me by decision. It was like a close decision. I think, you know, I think I won the 3rd, and I can't remember how the fight went, but it was nothing much happened, to be honest. It was like 2 rounds to 1 or something. I think I gave him a bit too much respect. You know, it was my first kind of big name. I think like he had been in the UFC. You know, so I thought, you know, he's going to be good. He's been in the UFC, he's won in the UFC and stuff, and yeah, gave him a bit too much respect. And then so he beat me at Bama. Then we fought in Cage Warriors. Was that already the champ? Or I think the title was maybe vacant. We fought for it.
Yeah, it was. It was vacant.
So yeah, I beat him by decision. It was kind of all on the feet, kickboxing kind of fight.
How does it feel to win a belt against someone you lost your Bama belt to? That must have been
it feels brilliant. Like I said, it almost erases the loss because and just the way it went, like it was cool. If you go back and watch all 3 fights, or even if you just look at it on paper, I went from losing a decision to winning a decision to then dominating and getting a finish. So you kind of seen me improving every time. But yeah, the third fight, the rivalry, there was a wee bit of beef. I don't know where it really came from. Just obviously for fighting each other a few times, and you know, I beat him, he beat me a decision, I beat him a decision, and you know, there was a wee bit of beef. And I remember at the weigh-ins, I didn't really know, you know, I thought it was all just kind of banter. But then at the weigh-ins, he was like head to head with me, and he was. I remember he was raging. I was sitting, you know, after I'd weighed in, I'm sitting like, well, they're still doing whatever they were doing. I'm drinking and I'm eating my sweeties and I'm all happy. After I've weighed in, I look across and he's just staring at me like pure raging at me. And I remember I was just looking across like, what the fuck are you looking at? And I thought, he's just like, he's just fucking, you know, trying to get my head or something. I look across again, he's still staring at me, like wanting to come and fight me the new. And I was just like, right, this is fucking real. So that was me. Like, I wish everybody was like that with me. That's what I need. I need, like, well, I didn't need it, but it's way easier to beat somebody up that you've got beef with. I think that was one of the only times I've ever had a bit of beef with somebody. So that was it. I was just like fucking, you know, raring to go. I remember the ref asked us to touch gloves. We never touched gloves. It was in London, Newcastle? I can't even remember. London, I think it was. And yeah, he had a lot of fans. I had a lot of fans. It was really cool. Good atmosphere. And I remember I cracked him a peach of a left shot, put him on his arse, and then submitted him.
So was that one even sweeter than winning the belt at Cage Warriors?
That one was better. That one was really good because I finished it like even though I think that I definitely won the decision. But again, I kind of played it tactical. I was hitting, moving. I was throwing a lot of kind of different kicks that I'd been working, spinning kicks and side kicks and all that kind of stuff. Whereas the third time, you know, I dropped him on the feet and then choked him out. Choked him till he tapped. And yeah, there was rivalry between me and him. There was also rivalry with all the crowds. So if anybody was there, they'll be watching this, remembering that. If you watch the fight back, it actually shows you the crowd for a wee minute because I jump over the cage, jump into the crowd. Everybody's like fucking jumping on, like everybody's trying to jump on me, cuddle me, whatever. And then you see on the camera, you see a couple of pints getting thrown everywhere, and then you see some like bottles, and then there's chairs getting thrown. So it was like it just erupted in the crowd a bit, and then even after the event, I'm sure there was they were all waiting on each other, and that was a bit mental.
I was then going to talk about how you went on to the UFC after that, but Stevie McIntosh says, tell him about the night out in Newcastle 3 weeks before your UFC debut. So I'll ask you that first.
Oh, so there's not even much to talk about that night, but so this must have been what? It was a week before my birthday, but I never really went to Newcastle for that. I went down to corner Craig McIntosh. Was it just him? I can't remember if anybody else fought. But yeah, went down to Newcastle to corner Craig Mott. He was fighting. I think maybe there was Lee fighting as well. I remember Mott was fighting. So yeah, we went down there. He won by, I think he Jap necktied the guy. I called it before the fight as well. I was like, "You're going to Jap necktie him round one," and then he done it. But anyway, so I was just planning on going down, cornering, staying in the hotel, keeping it quiet, and then coming up the road. And obviously, I never knew I had a fight at this point. And then yeah, that was pretty much it. We went back to the hotel. I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna have a drink." And that's the last thing I remember. apart from waking up, I remember just waking up in the morning like, holy shit, the night's over. Like, I've done that a few times. Like, I must just know when to stop drinking. Like, when you just wake up and the last thing you remember is like starting the night drinking.
I know that feeling well, actually. Yeah.
So it's like I don't know if that's blacking out. I suppose just a blackout. Can't remember anything. I looked beside me. Woke up, looked beside me. There was Stevie. Looked to the other side of me. There was Craig. We're all just sleeping in the same bed. Fucking. And I can't remember what happened. On the night out anyway. No in the fucking bed beside them.
Justin Flanagan said,
I think it was funny for him because I was just hammered. I was just fucking really drunk. And then obviously a week later I get asked to fight in the UFC in 2 weeks' time. And I'm like, shit. What was that, sorry?
He said, not the best idea to not drink for 6 months and then down a bottle of Bucky.
I can't remember doing that.
And then Justin Flanagan said, what about the week before the third Warburton fight and you decided to try a double backflip thing through the grip house after sparring?
What? I think that was maybe, yeah. I'm one of the guys that, if somebody says to try something, I had kind of no fear. I just try it. I think I eventually learned how to do a cartwheel and then a backflip and then a backflip again. And just kind of keep doing it. But I, to be honest, I can't even remember how that turned out, if anything bad happened or what.
Callum Murray says doing a bit of skiing in that bed. I don't know if you saw our interview with him the other day, but you got a lot to live up to. He was hilarious.
Aye, quality.
He's a nutter.
Old Bundy.
So after that fight, you then went on to the UFC, 7-4 in the UFC. Like, I just wanted to talk to you about your highs and lows. I mean, I've spoken to you before, and obviously after the Felder fight, like you said, that uncertainty of not knowing whether you were going to be fighting for the UFC again, like.
Yeah, oh Christ! So it's been, like I said, it's been an absolutely roller coaster. What's that? Oh,
it's Justin.
Justin catfishing.
It's been a roller coaster. Fucking like a lot of highs, a lot of lows. Like, it's been good. I've enjoyed it. You know what? Like, I'm proud and I'm kind of happy for what I've done, like achieved, and I'm just a guy for Kirkcaldy, like a small town, and I've made it to the biggest kind of promotion in the world. But I mean, running through it, trying not to be too long, but I mean, the very first fight, I was in the middle of probably a bit to give up before I got the UFC call. Before it, I moved to Hart Hill, near Whitburn, because my training was in Whitburn. I lived in Kirkcaldy, Fife. It was about a 45-minute drive to the gym, 45 minutes back. Like, so I kind of made the decision. I'm like, maybe it's better if I just move to training. I'm training every night, try and move closer. So I done that, stayed there for a year. Kind of, you know, it was good for training, but didn't like it. I didn't realise how miserable it was until I moved back with all my friends and family and everything like that. But yeah, I tried to make it work. It didn't work. Moved back home. Cage Warriors were in the middle of like going down the pan. Nobody knew what was happening. They were like, I don't know if something had happened with like the people that funded it, or you know, it was like down the drain. So I didn't know when I was getting a fight. I just moved back home. I was due my third kid. So I had 2 kids at the time, Lyle and Millie, and I was and Natalie was pregnant with Mila. She was due April 15th. She was due. And then obviously on my the day after my birthday, March 26th, I got a phone call from my manager. I remember, I mean, I've probably spoke about it before, but I remember we were already speaking that same day, me, Tam and James, asking if I would make a welterweight, 77 kilo for a fight, because James was like obviously trying to get me a fight elsewhere, just something to keep me busy and keep me kind of motivated. He was like, would you make welterweight in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something? I was like, I didn't care. I'm like 85 kilo now. And then later that day, my manager phones me. He's like, could you make a lightweight in 2 weeks? And I was like, hey, no chance. I was like, nah, no chance I could do that. I was like, how? What was that? He's like, oh, you've been offered a fight in Poland for the UFC. And I'm like walking about the house, absolutely buzzing, fucking throwing my clothes off, try getting the scales out, checking my weight while I'm on the phone. And obviously I was like 85.5 kilo or something. And then I asked, you know, what it was a contract. Eventually told it was a contract. Took the fight thinking I was going to miss weight, made weight, won the fight, got the stoppage. So that was buzzing. You know, that was one of my kind of highlights. Managed to stop Marcin Bandel. He was a well-known kind of leg lock guy, and I feel like I went in there and smashed them. Really, dominated them. Got the win in Poland. Then I thought, then that was probably the highlight of my career. Still, I fought in Glasgow, the Hydro. Again, first time I'd ever fought in the Hydro. There was like 13,000 Scottish fans, and I managed to get the first round knockout win against Leonardo Mafra. And I had so many demons in my head before that fight. You know, I remember walking out. I had like sciatica, lower back problems. I remember like trying to warm up and I couldn't warm up because my back was so sore. I remember walking out to the fight, like just that's what I was thinking. When I was walking out, I'm like, oh no, I'm not warm, my back's stiff, I can't throw any, I'm not going to be able to throw any kicks and I'm not going to be able to move. And then when I went out there, the crowd just completely made me forget about it. Everybody cheering, oh, it was crazy. Still, I could picture it in my head right now, like walking out and hearing it. It's just unbelievable.
You don't hear me screaming, kick him in the dick?
Nah, didn't hear that. But what I did hear though is what I think is cool as well. Even if you watch it back on the TV, like on Fight Pass or whatever, you can hear the chant, Stevie, 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 fucking Ray. The whole crowd's singing that, and I think that's pretty cool to watch that back and listen to that. But I remember throwing kick. I think I threw 2 kicks at the start of the fight because I'm like worried that, you know, I'm not warm. So and anyway, I got the first round knockout, got the bonus, got the win. Fucking it was brilliant. After that, I went 3-0. I beat Michael Lebeau. Kind of just, I never even really got out first gear in that fight. I feel I just kind of played. I was getting a bit cocky, if you like. Got the decision. I then got my surgeries after that in December. Fixed my knees. Christ, then what was it?
Then I can tell you because I got it all in front of me.
When did I lose, maybe?
Yeah, the Alan Patrick fight was next.
Oh, that. Christ, Snorefest. Fucking.
Was that the one you laid on you?
Took me down. He just took me down and lied on me. It was so awkward. It was so weird. Like, even on the feet, he was like, you know what it was like? It was like fucking somebody that hadn't even ever fought before got put in the cage. He was so like, don't get me wrong, he's skillful and he beat me. But it's like it was just so weird. Like, ran at me and on the feet and just did so unorthodox stuff. Took me down, lied on me. I almost I had him in two dangerous positions. So I almost armbarred him round one. I probably had to fix some details to get the breaking pressure. And then round two, I had his back with a body triangle, but it was my bad side. And I never knew I had his arm trapped until I watched the fight back. I had his arm trapped as well. But that was crap. After that, because I remember I was devastated. Like, obviously lost my first fight in the UFC. Then I got a phone call with a fight Ross Pearson as the co-main event in Belfast.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm up for any fight. I was like, aye, let's do it. So done that, got the win, played it kind of smart, hit and moved. We knew that Pearson was a kind of power puncher. Again, I was a fan of Pearson as well. I'd watched some of his fights. He likes to bang. He's got a heavy hand. So I just followed James Doolan's game plan, hit and move, and then also to throw punches, and then a head kick after it because he likes to slip the punches. So to try and make him slip on at my kick, which worked a few times. Got that win. What was after that?
Joe Lozon,
aye. So again, got the big win against Ross Pearson. Then Joe Lozon, my US debut, fought in Nashville. Got that win. Christ, that was a crazy fight. That was one of my highlights as well.
He's an absolute legend as well, and just like, I mean, you've fought such there's just a ton of names that you could pick out as being like just so cool that you fought them, but he's one of the biggest ones for me.
Yeah, and that's it. I was a huge fan of him. He was a legend, and yeah, it was crazy to fight him. And I remember after the first round thinking, "Fuck, well, yeah, he is on another level." Because he took me down and just beat the shit out of me. It remembered me the Scott Ward fight when I fought a guy, Scott Ward, that a lot of people always remember that fight. That was a crazy fight as well. But Joe Lozon took me down, beat the shit out of me, punched me, kicked, elbowed me in the face, and I took a kind of big beating. And then, I think I came back, won round two. And round three, I kind of thought, I remember going into round three thinking, this is a close fight. Even if I win this round, it could be a draw, depending on how it gets scored. So I was like, fuck it. Let's just get 50 Gs. Let's get 50 Gs for fight of the night. And I just remember, I was hoping he was going to bang back. I just put my hands down, walked towards him, started banging, hoping he would bang back and it would just be a total slugfest. But yeah, he just kind of kept his hands up and took all the punishment. But which probably ended up making me win the fight.
Yeah.
So,
and then the Felder fight was next, so I can see why. I can see
next fight.
why
Next fight.
you just didn't think that, or your management didn't think that the UFC would let you go, and why it didn't seem so dangerous to go into that fight, knowing that you'd be a free agent afterwards.
I've no excuses for that fight at all. Like, I had one of my best training camps, I felt. I remember James brought in some Thai boxers to the gym. I'd done a lot of kind of different sparring with, I can't remember all their names, but Brian from the Grip House, I've totally forgot his second name, but
Gallagher.
really good. What's that?
Gallagher? No.
Yeah, I can't remember if that's his name. Christ, I get hit in the head too many times. Someday I'll maybe pop up and say, but really good Thai boxer for the Grip House. He came in, done some rounds with me. I also got another guy. Is it Adrian? One of Danny Henry's old teammates. He came in to help me spar. Basically a brilliant training camp. I went into the fight feeling good. The only thing with that is I maybe played Felder's game a wee bit too much. I clinched a lot. Brian Totty. That's it. Brian Totty. I don't know if it's because I focused so much on the kind of Thai stuff that I then ended up playing kind of his game. Like, so I ended up I got kneed in the chin. That was the start of it from the clinch. I was kind of in a half Thai clinch, half wrestling clinch, and he's just came up through a left knee to my chin, hit me on the chin, and then that was the kind of start to the end. I don't think the referee knew, but I think I was kind of half unconscious. I remember lying on my back. Well, I didn't remember, to be honest. I only remember because I watched it back. My legs were above my head, and I'm half out, and then I've kind of woke up. And another mistake that I'd done, I would say, a lot of the camp I was doing jiu-jitsu. Again, my fault for not putting like gloves on, focusing too much on jiu-jitsu stuff. So I remember kind of this part of it. I was underneath in half guard, and I was able to hit a reverse De La Riva back take quite good. I done it in a grappling comp. There's a good video of that. Reverse De La Riva, I take the back, and then I choked that guy out in the grappling comp, pinned his arm, and that was quite a cool video. But anyway, I tried to do that against Felder. I remember you maybe didn't see me going to do that because I never got quite as far as that. But I'm trying to go under his legs, forgetting to protect my face for obviously shots, and he just came down, smashed me with like an elbow, and then another one. I think 2 elbows, and I obviously put me out. Gave me a wee scar here somewhere. One of my scars. But that fight was shit. Got caught with a knee. I felt good in the clinch too. That's the thing. I actually felt like I was winning the clinch. I've not watched that fight back, and I've maybe only watched that fight maybe twice. I've not watched that in a long time. I maybe need to watch it back and see what kind of happened before that. But yeah, that was crap. I was all depressed. First time I had been majorly depressed in my life. I remember like lying in my bed, not wanting to get out of bed. I just felt like shit. One, I was not in contract with the UFC anymore, and I realised that I was maybe not going to get another contract. And 2, I'd just been knocked out in Scotland, knocked out for the first time in my life, and it was in Scotland in front of everybody. That was not very good. But life goes on. I opened my gym and all that. That said, who was after Felder again? Was that Cajun Johnson?
Yeah.
Aye. So that fight again, Cajun. I like Cajun. I used to train with him at TriStar. I gave him a wee bit too much respect as well because
he had so much hype behind him at that time, didn't he? Like he was huge.
You know what? I trained with him at TriStar, and I knew how good his jiu-jitsu was. He was really good jiu-jitsu. He had really good leg locks, and I didn't know why. I was so adamant that he was going to come in and try and take me down. Maybe just because of that. Like maybe I'd subbed me at TriStar once, or something like that, and I just assumed he was going to come and take me down. I remember my coach just constantly telling me he's going to hit and he's going to run. He's going to run loads. He does it every fight. But I didn't know. I was adamant he was going to come forward with me. And James was right. He done what he said he was going to do. It was quite a frustrating fight. Like I couldn't really hit him. He never really hit me. It's the one fight that I've had a fight and I literally felt like I've not been in a fight at all. I had a wee bit of a sore calf, but that was rubbish. I was kind of pissed off at myself for that fight actually because I know I could have won that fight. But he's a good guy and he is a good fighter. I mean, his fight after me, I think he fought Rustam Kabalov. He lost that and then he got cut. But I remember watching that fight at the time, thinking he had won. And he fought really good against him. He went forward and attacked more as well. Because I remember thinking, "Fuck, you should have fought me like that. Would have been better." But then who was it after Cajun? Then I won. Then it was a Yari. Then it was the fucking start of my knee shit. That was the first time I'd done kind of most in my camp the kind of end of my camp at TriStar. So yeah, camp was good, apart from obviously the knee problems and whatever. I went in there. I didn't perform that good against the Yari. I probably should have took him down. And you know what? A lot of my career, most of the guys will know in the gym. Like if I get on top of you in the gym, you're in kind of trouble for MMA rounds anyway. But I don't know why. I didn't really do any takedowns in my UFC career. Most of it was on the feet. Whereas my style was a wee bit, I like to get on top, ground and pound and jiu-jitsu as well. I feel like that's probably the best part of my game now, my jiu-jitsu.
This is a good question from Rab Truesdale. Are you staying in the USADA testing pool just in case, or are you going to go mental and take all the drugs?
Oh, fuck. Not before it. Nah, USADA's already took me off the pool or whatever. I got an email the other day saying that's me being removed. So yeah, just a couple of days ago, I was still in the testing pool for maybe the last kind of few months. But that's me not in it now. Tempting to get on all the gear and get huge, but again, I think just hitting the gym anyway. That's pretty much all I've been doing for the last 6 weeks, going to the gym and pumping the weights.
I don't even know. I'm guessing this is Scottish terminology. Peter, it's better read out in your voice.
Yeah, you got no
What's
scans
that?
on. You got no scans on.
Oh, that. What, the new?
Aye, when you drop your phone.
Is this all-in-one loungewear?
It is a kind of pair. It's not an all-in-one shorts and t-shirt, but they're both matching.
You'd fit in down here. That's an Essex thing, a little co-ord set. Let's finish off because we were getting towards the end, and I wanted to talk about there was the Leonardo Santos fight, and then obviously Michael Johnson, which was like probably the most impressive win of your career, definitely the biggest name, and you looked incredible in that fight. You really did, and that's what I think makes it all the harder to.
Yeah, so just kind of finishing on the Yari fight, then I would just say, I remember like throwing inside leg kicks, and I was kind of moving. Like he was quite a big guy, Jason Ayari. He was a lot bigger than me, naturally a lot bigger. He used to fight at welterweight, had a big frame, and I kind of expected him to move back. I expected him to be on the back foot, because when he fought Darren Till, he was like running a lot. He was on the back foot, but against me, he just pressured so forward, and again, I probably should have grappled against him or something. I mean, I got the win. That's the most important part. But he's the one that made it boring. Like, again, I like him. He's a good guy and stuff. And he probably knows it himself. He didn't throw at him. He was he was coming towards me. Yeah, he was pressuring me. And he landed some good shots. He did throw some stuff. But, like, I was hitting, moving, and I just kept throwing the inside. I kind of became like a guy fucking that only knew one move, because I just kept leg kicking him and he wasn't checking it. So I'm like, I'm just gonna keep kicking you, and And yeah, I got a bit too kind of happy with that. I should have mixed it up a bit more, but I just smashed his legs to bits. He wasn't engaging, so that kind of ended up a bit boring, that fight.
That was the fight with the weird commentary as well. I remember that fight for just like...
they were like being a bit biased towards him, like stalking me and whatever else.
Yeah, and I just felt like they were watching a different fight to me.
Yeah. And then, then obviously Santos. That was another shite fight. Just one of those things. Like, again, I got offered Leonardo Santos. I've never ever declined anybody at the UFC I've ever offered me. As soon as they offered me a fight, then obviously let's do it. There's never a question whether I should take it or not. So yeah, I took that fight, and I think a lot of people had actually like declined that fight because it was he's one of those guys that wasn't totally well known to the whole world anyway. But he was like 6-0 in the UFC.
Yeah.
I think he was 6-0. He had beat guys like Kevin Lee. He wasn't really getting the recognition he maybe deserved. He was one of Jose Aldo's kind of main training partners. And he was huge. I didn't realise how big he was. He's like 6 foot. It says he's 6 foot, but he looks about 6'2". Yeah, really big lightweight. World champion jiu-jitsu, so I was obviously worried about it going to the ground. And I fucking dished me and put my lights out. And it's just one of the things. Shit happens, you know what I mean? He's a fighter. Anything can happen sometimes, even though it was unexpected. Like most people probably thought if he was going to beat me, he was going to sub me. And again, that fight I felt good, apart from obviously the fucking usual shitty knee problems.
Yeah.
Just got caught, and then again, feeling a bit rubbish after that fight. And this is the weird thing. This is when I start thinking the UFC were probably trying to get rid of me at this point, because obviously after the fights, I'm always like, you know, my knee's fucked. I've had 4 different surgeries through the UFC that they've paid for. I've had loads of different knee appointments to get injections, to get consulted. I've had MRIs, and you know, it all cost a lot of money. So I think they were maybe wanting a shot at me at this point, because I just find it a bit weird that I get knocked out from Leonardo Santos, and then they offer me Michael Johnson, like a huge fight, a big, huge name. But I obviously ruined their plans a bit, because I think they maybe gave me that fight hoping I would lose. But again, I could be wrong. Maybe they never are again. And that fight, was brilliant. The whole kind of the trip over and stuff. But going back to the fight camp was shit. The whole fight camp rubbish. I mean, I was going swimming a lot of the time. I would text James, I'm not making it in the day. My knee's big. I can't really afford to make it worse. So what I'll do is I'll go swimming. I maybe done that a good 10 times the whole camp. Went swimming instead of doing jiu-jitsu and wrestling and striking and MMA. Missed a lot of sparring in case it made it worse. And then I remember 2 weeks before the fight, I remember like sitting on my couch, icing my knee and whatever, or this is maybe 3 weeks before the fight. I was all depressed, thinking I was going to have to pull out the fight. And then I phoned, got an appointment with Fraser Wade, the orthopedic surgeon. He then said, that's when he said, I can give you a cortisone injection to help you get through the fight. But he's like, again, it's only a short-term fix. Hopefully it helps you get through the fight, and then boom, your knee will be fucked again. And that's pretty much what happened. It got me through the fight. I managed to make it there after a crap kind of fight camp. and yeah, got the win. So going into the fight, talking about the fight a bit, I remember round one. I fought I won round one. I'm like, you know what? I think that's maybe my round. I remember asking James. He said, "Oh, I don't know." He said to me that it could have went either way. Could be his round. Don't know. And round two, this is when we kind of all fucked up, because James thought that Johnson was going to get slower during the fight, and it was maybe because he never came out so fast in the first round. Like I feel like I was able to, I feel like I was able to kind of match his speed, or at least counter him when he hit me. What we planned to do, you know, hit him every time he hits me. So I feel like we managed to do that. I threw a lot of leg kicks in round one. And round two, he came out 100 miles an hour. I was like, I remember thinking, fuck. I remember thinking, he's not fucking slowed down. He's fast as shit.
You quite often hear coaches say in the corner, like, he's tired, he's got nothing left, he's gassed. And you're looking over thinking, I'm not sure about that.
That's it. So, well, it wasn't until he came out so fast. I remember thinking, fucking hell, he like came out 100 miles an hour. Like I just couldn't believe how fast he felt, and I'm like, shit. So, and then obviously it started taking its toll. I've watched it back a few times. I landed some really good shots on him, even in round two. But round two was definitely his. He done a lot of damage. I think he cut me. I don't know if you'll see the scar. I've got a scar somewhere. Is that there? Kind of. So yeah, cut me open round two. That was his round. And then round three was kind of back and forth a wee bit at the start of the round, and I knew it was maybe one round apiece. And just I remember I think I tried to take him down a few times. I don't know if I tried to take him down before round three. I think I did. But yeah, I tried to take him down a couple of times or once in round three, and his sprawl was so fast. Like, I got nowhere near his hips. I tried to, and I'm like, fucking hell, he's down defenses. And we knew it was going to be. I mean, Khabib even struggled to take him down. And then I just, luckily, I got the perfect kind of shot. He sprawled on the when I hit the double leg. He sprawled, and then I turned the corner, managed to kind of take him down and get him trapped against the fence. And then I got my happy place, the body triangle. Anybody that trains with me knows that if I get the body triangle on you, you're fucked. So,
Graham Beveridge agreeing with you there.
I do a wee thing where I don't know. It's maybe my legs are perfect for this move as well, because it's like when I get it, it's so tight. But I do a wee variation of the body triangle where instead of putting my leg on the outside leg, I put my leg on the inside leg. And I do that purposely. Again, I could do a lot of stuff for it. I could do like a kind of variation of the twister. Or I can flatten them out, mount them and stuff like that. So I managed to get that in the fight. And I remember thinking there was only maybe a few minutes to go or something. I remember just thinking, like, just try and punch him as many times as you can to make sure you win this round.
Yeah.
And I thought, if you win this round, you've probably won the fight. So obviously if I got the finish, then it's a bonus. But then that's that. Singapore was one of the best places I've visited as well. Like, unbelievably clean, amazing place. So like all the different kind of places I've got to visit, and the ups, the downs, it's been a crazy. I think 5 years I've been in the UFC. Five and a half years.
Yeah.
So, and it's just rubbish.
So, out of all of them, what's the best? What's the pinnacle?
The best.
Yeah. Your favourite moment?
I think my favourite moment was the first Scotland fight. Again, I've got like it's like a surreal moment. I just remember the crowd, like me winning, getting the stoppage, getting like a knockout in front of like that was that was an unbelievable experience. Like jumping on the cage and just seeing everybody roar for me, and that was unbelievable. Yep. So I would have to say that, even though obviously Joe Lozon's up there, Michael Johnson's up there, that was the kind of moment in my career, I would say, that I kind of remember the most.
Amazing. Kieran Reid wants to know if you're up for I'm a Celebrity.
I'd do whatever. I would be up for that. Or maybe help me diet. Christ.
Yeah, I think fighters would be pretty good at that though, because they're used to like being really hungry on a weight cut and competitive in the challenges. I think you'd do really good.
It's actually rumoured for Conor McGregor's actually rumoured to be on the next series.
I've heard that. Aye, so that's the thing. If they're looking for somebody like Conor McGregor, that's maybe going to go on. They're not going to want me. But it'd be cool though. It'd be cool to do that. I'd be up for it. I'd probably be a crabby bastard if I had to diet, especially if you've seen my diet recently. That's it. I'm not. I started all right, but I'm starting to get a bit beefy now.
Is this true? You were trying to apply for Big Brother when he was trying to go to sleep at UFC London?
Big Brother. I can't mind. I've applied for it. I've applied for it before, though. So. I
can't see that Conor McGregor's going to do I'm a Celebrity like for 50 grand when like all the following week he's fighting Manny Pacquiao for.
Some of them have been paid £1 million and all that. The bigger ones, the big American ones, they've gotten in.
Yeah. Oh, so he wouldn't be on it here then?
No, I'm saying the American ones they've had over here, they've given $500,000, $750,000. Some of them get real good money. Yeah.
Sign me up. I'll fucking do it.
Nothing that will interfere with his knees though. Kieran Reid also said if you're sparring with Stevie, it's just boxing because his knees fucked.
That's it. That's what it's been for the last, and that's the thing. You know what? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, there's a lot of kind of ups and downs and pros and cons with fighting. Like, I've done it for, like I said, 12 years. So, not just the injury that kind of makes me happy that I've retired. Like, there's a lot of other, like, it's a hard life. So anybody that's looking to pursue and being a fighter, like, I go for it. Of course, there's a lot of kind of good stuff. Like, you can make a lot of money, and if you make it big time, and if you talk like McGregor, you can get some really good paydays or whatever. But there's a lot of kind of downsides to it as well. I don't want to be too negative, but obviously, when you're a fighter, like, it's hard to enjoy your life. As in, the amount of times my friends have asked me to, like, come and do this, and it doesn't even just have to be drinking. It could even be like, one of my friends has said, like, oh, I'm going to book a log cabin, me, my missus, and the kids. You, Natalie, and the kids wanting to come, and I'm like, nah, because I might have a fight. It's always that. I might have a fight, or I do have a fight, or I'm waiting to hear if I've got a fight. I can't do it. Sometimes I would get one, sometimes I wouldn't. And then again, they'd be like, oh, you coming to my stag? And I'm like, no, because I think that's when UFC London is, and I think I'm going to be on it, and then I was on it, and fucking so it's just hard to go out and actually enjoy your life a bit. I've enjoyed the whole career in my life and everything I've achieved, and I've managed to get like some nice stuff and enjoy myself along the way. But like I said, there's a lot of kind of cons and having to diet all the time, and like it's just it's good to be able to eat what I want now. I was 90 kilos this morning, so fucking
what are you aiming for? What are you getting up to?
I've just been eating whatever I want.
Oh, Rab Truesdale said those eyebrows are bang on, mate. Do you do them yourself?
It's quite hard to work this camera. It's like if I go left, it goes right. So,
It's mirror. It's really off-putting.
Natalie done them.
They're looking smart.
She wanted to wax my eyebrows. Then the next thing she's got them fucking shit. She got a big bit of wax on my eyelash, and I was like, and then I thought, my eyelashes. Then she's like, go and let me do your arse. And I'm like, get the fuck. Fucking. She done a
Did
bit
you
of
have
my
it
chest.
done?
She done it to my chest the other week. Well, I ended up letting her do a wee bit of it that night. but
that's all the rage down here. Is back sack and crack not popular in Scotland? That's very common down here.
I let her do one wee bit, and that was it.
Peter, I missed a comment there because we were talking, but it was about Sean Clancy Jr. If you've still got that one, Stevie, will Sean Clancy Jr. go all the way to the UFC?
Definitely, because he managed to submit me for the first time just the other week
in the buggy choke.
What's that?
With the buggy choke.
He introduced me to the buggy choke. I've never seen that in my life. It's a real thing. Like he said, he never made it up. He said he found it, like he's seen it online or whatever. But I couldn't believe it. Like I hadn't trained with him in a while, and obviously I knew he was improving. It was just jiu-jitsu we were doing, so I think I've like passed his guard or something and been in side control. And he throws up his legs, and I'm thinking, what are you doing? And I remember just thinking, I'm like, what's this Egypt then? And then I'm like, wait a minute, this is fucking choking me a bit. And then I was like, this is getting tighter. And I just thinking, like, there's no way he's going to submit me for underneath side control. And then right enough, he got me. And after that, I was thinking, that was fucking lucky. That was just a one-off. I'm not going to let you catch me with that again. And then right enough, he fucking done me with it again. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe that, like, I couldn't stop it. That was rad. I tried to do it. I think I need longer legs or longer arms. I'm flexible enough to do it, but I think I've got the arm reach.
There's a real skill to watching something online and like just being able to figure it out and put it together and like just start catching people with it. And I know that's how Bryce Mitchell like was with the twister, and you know, he just said he watched it on an Eddie Bravo tutorial and then just started practicing it in the gym, and then obviously got it in the UFC. But
definitely, if you actually like spent some time and studying on YouTube and that, there's loads of stuff you can learn, and not even just BJJ. You could probably fucking learn it. You could probably become a doctor by watching YouTube. There's that much shit now, no joke. That I'm surprised, like, you know, social media and YouTube, isn't it? Just put so many different companies in the tubes, like physio, for example. You can go on YouTube and get so many different physio stuff, and it's just really crazy what's on the net these days.
I never even do the exercises that my real life physios give me, so I doubt I'm going to go and track down some on there, but there we go. Before we let you go, I wanted to talk to you about another teammate, Luke Shanks. Obviously won the flyweight title at Cage Warriors this weekend. Like, an amazing achievement for the gym. Was it 6 titles that James Doolan has won in the gym now? Yeah, like amazing. So yeah, just wanted to ask you what you thought, because I don't think I've ever seen such a pasting in a title fight like that.
Yeah, I remember watching it. I was getting frustrated. I'm like, fucking, like, I was watching, I'm like, there's a fucking armbar right there. And there was only like, there's only 30 seconds to go. So I'm like, fucking armbar. Like, and I can't remember what round it was. It was maybe like the third round. He was in high mount and the arm was there. I'm like, go for it. There's only 30 seconds left anyway. And then I remember when he kind of got the back, I'm like, oh, here comes. He's trying to steal my body triangle. Because I helped look at the start of the fight camp, way back when I was training. Did some pads with him and, rolled with him a lot, trained. And but it was good. The only thing I was worried about is I think he had cut quite a lot of weight. For a flyweight, I'm sure he cut like 20 pounds of water, which is a lot for a flyweight. I've never even ever cut 20 pounds of water anyway. So I was worried he was going to like blow his load kind of thing, like gas out. But some performance, like just went in, dominated the guy. That guy looked pretty athletic and fast on the feet though. When it was on the feet, I was like, fuck. You need to stay out of kicking range. I was thinking either get in his face, boxing range, or get on the floor. But just real dominance performance. And to think that other guy was the champion. And then Lux came in and just kind of smashed them. Lux, I always feel like I could tell if a fighter's going to go a long way. Like I remember, this sounds daft, but I remember seeing Danny Henry at Cage Combat. This was my second ever fight. I remember watching him like in the dressing room, I think, or even watching his fight. I was just like, he looks like the real deal. I think he's gonna go far. And then it's crazy. I'm in the UFC with him. And then when I looked at, when I seen Luke in the gym, and like for him being a flyweight, like the strength he's got and the kind of scrambles. So I thought the same with him. So it's good that, and you know what, he should get signed to the UFC now. He just beat Petro Menga. I think what's his record actually? Is it like 7-1 or something?
Luke's, 7-1, I think.
7-1. Something like that. But I beat Petro Menga, who was like one of the kind of hottest prospects, and I think he got signed to the UFC and then released for some sort of issues, but maybe missing weight or something. But Luke smashed him, and then obviously smashed the champ, and
so Scott's saying that he was the main sparring partner for him in his camp and thinks he's improved him as well. So I mean, that's some accolade coming from Scott Malone.
That's it. Scott Malone's been coming up to higher level, and again, like I think you could even just see like, the improvements that Scott made, and obviously winning his fight as well, and probably just having the confidence of having James in the corner as well. Like it does a thing. I think having James there, and you know what, like when Scott was coming to us, I know it's a trek. Like he lives in Dundee, so it's like an hour and a half drive, I think, or something. To get there, but that's what makes the difference. When he's coming down and he's training with, me, Danny Henry, Luke Shanks, Stevie Mop, Callum Murray, like so many I could go on.
But it's also like you said about the sacrifices of a fighter. It's not just what happens in the cage. It's the fact that pretty much everyone you've spoken about like has got families as well, and yet they're still trying to fit in. It's not just the training. It's getting the best training in that you can, and how much travel that'll involve, or you going off to TriStar, or just it's there's a lot of sacrifices along the way.
Well, that's what I mean. It paid off for him, and I see it all the time. I see it in other kind of gyms. Like I'm watching like fighters that are like high level, really high level, and you're seeing them post up photos. They've just done their sparring and their training. And you're no disrespect to any other clubs or whatever, and you're looking at the sparring partners, and it's like amateur fighters, and fighters half their weight class, and I just think like fair play. But I just think if you went to a gym that's got, you know, people that are at the same level as you, then it's just gonna, like, I had to do that, and that's why I'm saying it. When I first started MMA, I trained at Edge MMA, and I'll be forever thankful for what them and Jim McKelvey done for me. You know, he taught me all the basics of jiu-jitsu and whatever, but it became a time and a place where I was having to bring in Thai boxers well, I was actually going to them. I was going to a Thai boxing club, a boxing club, a BJJ club, and Edge MMA, until I eventually moved to higher level when they first moved in Whitburn. And if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have even got to the UFC. Never mind being able to stay. And like I said, like, you know, train with killers and you become a killer. And even if you're already really good, if you're training with people that are like just as good as you or better on a daily basis, it's only going to make you better.
So true. Yeah.
And it's the same with Luke Shanks, you know, when he first came to us, to look how much he's improved when he first came to us. Like, he was already a good fighter, obviously, but the difference now to when he first came is just crazy. And there's loads of fighters I can say that with. Danny Henry's another one. You know, he used to train at Headhunters, good gym or whatever, and he was a good fighter. But like the levels that he's went up since coming to higher level. So basically what I'm saying is just leave your gym, come to higher level, and you'll
become a UFC fighter.
Or Braveheart MMA.
Or Braveheart MMA.
I'll come to me now, that's it.
So I know you said Luke Shanks is ready for the UFC and deserves to be there, and I agree with you. But after seeing that whole card, I would really like to see a title defense against Jake Hadley, because that was just like, it was a bit of an epic night, wasn't it, for the flyweights? And I would like to see that one. I think that would be a real fun fight.
That's the guy. That's the guy that won by knockout, wasn't it? He won.
Yeah,
stoppage.
yeah.
He looks good. He looks quite big. He's a southpaw. If that fight happens, I could probably come along, even though I'm retired, come and help look at with kind of some tactics and stuff. Me being a southpaw as well. Luke being a southpaw, so the game completely changes. Like, if you're a southpaw and you're fighting orthodox, obviously you've got all the kind of wee sneaky stuff that you can do against an orthodox, the outside foot, you know, certain kind of moves. And then when you're fighting
southpaw stuff.
When you're fighting another southpaw, you don't really get that a lot. Southpaw versus southpaw. Like, there's just so many, everything becomes different. So it's interesting. But that guy looks like he's got really good hands and a big guy.
Yeah, no, that'd be a fun fight, I think. Help him with his diet, Stevie. I'm not helping him cut 20 pounds again. Sounds like that was brutal then. I can't believe hearing that after seeing him like have that 5 rounds utter domination. Like,
you know what? He probably would have fucking missed weight if he never had me on his back every week. No joke, because even going back like 10 weeks ago, I remember he's like telling me he's trying this diet and he's playing with the fasting. He was playing with fasting a wee bit. Yeah, I'm just gonna fast, and then he never fasted. He's like gave up the fasting. He was eating this. Then he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do these meals and and then I see him eating carrot cake and or was it cheesecake? He was eating cheesecake and and then he's like, yeah, but that's the only thing I'm gonna eat today now. I've ate this cheesecake and that's it. I'm not gonna eat. And he done some mad things this fight camp. Yeah, and then I think he done some keto meals with his meal prep company and that. But yeah, I was worried, to be honest. Like, he was quite heavy a few weeks out, and I don't think his diet's the best.
Sure he loves being outed on the MMA KLH show.
but to be fair, he made weight like a champ and he performed 5 rounds. I was worried for that, but yeah, he went out and smashed that. So,
Oh my God. He waited till James fell asleep, crawled along the floor and stole an orange during the night.
He's a grouse.
I can imagine James having a heart attack with that. I always
Justin said,
remember.
oh, go on. Sorry, go on.
No, sorry. What's that? I've done a few cuts with people. His last one with Menga was hilarious. That took me on the edge. I was just gonna say, James is a pure para when it comes to like when you've made weight, like because sometimes it's like the night before you've made weight or the morning of, but you've still got like 2 hours. Still got 2 hours to the weigh-in, so obviously if you're like, I think one time I went as low as 153.5 pounds by mistake, so I'd cut a wee bit much, and then I'm like, right, that means I can drink this and I can drink that and eat this, and he's like, no, just eat or drink nothing, just that's it. Like, he's just worried that I'm going to obviously end up being too heavy again. But what you do is, if you've made weight and you're light, like let's say I'm 154 pounds, and I'm allowed to be 156. So all you need to do to make sure that you literally can't go wrong is weigh yourself with whatever you're going to have. So stand on the scale with the thing you're going to have. So if it's a bottle of Lucozade, just hold the bottle of Lucozade in your hand, stand on the scale, and you literally can't go heavier. Like, in that short period of time anyway. So if it's 500 ml, you stand on it and you're 154.5, and then hold 2 bottles, hold 3 bottles until it's like obviously just maybe 155.5. Bye. Oh, one time actually, I've just remembered there while we're speaking about weight cutting. What fight was this now? Was this a Johnson fight, or either the Johnson fight or the Santos fight? I can't really remember. So I'd made weight. I'd made weight the night before, because when they changed it, the UFC to, instead of like 4 o'clock weigh-ins of the day, so I would normally like cut a little bit the night before, and then wake up and do the weight cut the morning of the weigh-ins. But then they changed that weigh-ins were like 9 a.m. so you didn't get a lot of time. If you wake up at 8 and you can end up missing weight. So I like to sometimes just make weight the night before, go to sleep, kind of knowing that you're on weight, you're not going to get a crap sleep, worrying if you're going to make weight. So I usually cut to like 157 the night before, because then I know I would like wake up on weight usually. And I woke up through the night, and I must have been half asleep. I fucking woke myself up while I was downing a 2-liter bottle of my electrolyte drink, because I'd made it the night before. I just made I basically make a hydration drink that's got like water, salt, honey, and lemon and whatever. And I was absolutely downing it. I think I drank about a liter. Then like I woke up like while I was drinking it. I'm like, fuck, what am I doing? And I told James, he's like, no, you've no, fuck's sake. I weighed myself and fuck, I was over again. I was like, I think I went to 159 pounds or something, or 158.5. But luckily managed to still like just not have to do too much the next morning. But that was a bit of a scare.
Oh my God. One more teammate that I wanted to ask you about before I let you go. I wanted to ask you about Callum Murray, who's we've mentioned him earlier, but he's got his fight in Brave coming up this week. How do you see that one going?
Callum's got a bit of kind of unorthodox style, both on the feet and on the ground. Again, he's got a bit of kind of taekwondo background, so he's kind of still got that a wee bit. And that, to be honest, that's when he's really good at it. Like, he closes the distance really good with his punches. I kind of stole some stuff off him, to be honest. And yeah, his sidekicks, like, he's got the best sidekick I've ever sparred. It's so frustrating, like just multiple sidekicks to the belly. And again, he hit, like, he's got a really good hook kick. Yeah, because he mixes the side kick and the hook kick. So because it both looks the same. So he'll side kick you in the belly, and then he'll hook kick you, and you'll think it's a side kick coming. I remember it's the best head kick anybody's probably ever hit me. And to be fair, it never really rocked me or that for some reason. But it was like the best way to describe it was like, imagine I've got like a big fish in my hand, like here, and he just slapped it across my face. Fucking, that's what it felt like. I remember it was like the bottom of his foot just slapped the side of my face, and I didn't see it coming at all. But yeah, and then on the ground, like, he's got such a bendy style that I've even stole off him a wee bit as well. You know, some of his kind of rubber guard, meat hook kind of stuff. That again, I think, like, sometimes I think he maybe goes away for that stuff. Like, because you're forever learning new stuff. But I think when he's sticking with that sort of stuff and the stuff he's good at, he's just an absolute nightmare. So I could see him. I didn't know much about his opponent, but I'd imagine, I'd say Callum's best thing is his jiu-jitsu. So I'd imagine I'm getting a takedown and getting a submission.
Yeah. I know that he had to get 3 flights, and I think it was 20 hours in duration altogether just to get to Bahrain. So we're excited to see him put on a show. And actually, James Doolan was going to be joining us for this show, but he's had to go and sort a load of stuff out. Now, this story, Stevie, I made you tell on the last show when somebody commented.
Not even joking, right? See that, right? It was the day, I'm sure it was the day before Natalie's birthday. The day before Natalie's birthday. And I'm not even joking. See the amount of people that I see that maybe look like that guy. And I'm just looking, I'm like, when's it you? I'll get that guy back one day. I will get that guy back. And just for the record, I didn't buy gold, but I got totally conned.
Totally conned. If you really want to see the story, go back and watch my last interview with Stevie where he told the whole thing. But
absolute rage.
I hope the day that you do see him and somebody pays for what happened, it actually is the right guy.
To be honest, I'd be scared of what I'd even do. I think the old Stevie Ray would come out in me. A lot of the times I've been angry before or whatever, I think, I can't do that. You know, I get sacked for the UFC, but I've not got that to hang about now. So anybody pisses me off these days, they're getting their teeth knocked out.
Well, we saw you get the bikes back recently. So
that's
was it your kid's bike that got stolen?
Yeah, it was the kids' bikes. Yeah, that was crazy as well. I remember fucking hearing somebody at my front doors, and I heard the bike. I heard like a bike getting pedalled. I just fucking jump up, ran out, and my next door neighbour was like, "Yeah, they've just went on your bikes." And I've went to go start running off after them, and then I remembered how fucking gammy my knees are. So I turned around and my bike was just in the front room. So I've grabbed my bike. Fucking, you seen? Well, a lot of folk have seen the video. I was going 100 miles an hour. I remember I just thinking, "There's no fucking way you're getting away with this. Like, I'm catching you." And you know, well, I think I've said it. Have I said that story before? I can't remember where. I remember seeing one person on my kid's bike, and they had their hood up, and I jump off the bike, and I remember saying, "Get off that fucking bike now," and they just ignored me. So I've jumped off the bike at this point because they're cycling quite slow because they're going like over the traffic lights, and I remember thinking, I'm gonna fucking head kick them off that bike. And I was running, I was lit. I'm not even joking. I was gonna head kick them right off the bike, and luckily I didn't, because it turned out to be a girl, as well. So I've grabbed her, thinking it was a guy. Obviously, I've grabbed the back of the jumper, and I'm like, "Get off the bike now!" Try to like pull her off, And then her reply was like, "Get off me!" appeared like basically a junkie. And then I got the bike, and then the guy came back pure shaking. Here's the other one.
How's your luck that you nick a bike and then realise it belongs to Stevie fucking Ray? Better luck next time. So.
Well, they're lucky. They're lucky. I just let them away.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Because if that was a good 5, maybe even 10 years ago, they would have been in the hospital with no teeth. They've
probably had no teeth already.
Aye, that's it.
I think that was the only point of it. It wasn't on camera. The seen you coming out of the house, the seen you biking around the corner, and then the rest of it was not on camera. So you got away with hitting them.
Yeah.
Those two people are never to be found. Still.
Serves them right. But anyway. Back to you, and I just wanted to say thank you so much. Thank you for all the memories you've given me, all the amazing fights that I've enjoyed over the years. You were always someone that I just got excited about being on the card, and was always just deliriously cheering you on. So I just want to say thank you so much, and for everything you've given to MMA. And Peter, I'll hand over to you because I'm sure you want to sign off on this.
Yeah, no, just thanks for the memories, good and bad. Because even when you said you got depressed and stuff, we were the same. We were all sad when you lost as well. We went through that as well. Your moment at Heido was my favourite moment as well, being in the crowd and seeing that. The atmosphere was absolutely brilliant. Also like to thank you for all the interviews and that you've given us over the year. You've never said no once, never once. We've always had a good relationship. I used to help you with your social media and all that, and that was a great pleasure as well to help promote you and stuff. And I'm pretty sure we'll interview again for Braveheart and all that, and see you at events and all that, and we'll get you again.
Aye, that's it. I mean, I'm still going to kind of dedicate my life or try to and give back and whatever. And I'm going to be obviously coaching at Braveheart, and hopefully I can get some guys to the UFC, or if not, just coach and help better people's lives or whatever it may be. Doing that. I'll still be training. I'm still going to obviously travel to James's, and I'm going to maybe focus on putting the gi on and trying to get my black belt next. And you never know. I'll maybe compete in jiu-jitsu if the knee ever gets better. And you never know. I would never say never to jumping in if an opportunity came up fighting again, but it probably will only be at lightweight. Again, just for the way I've been pumping the iron, so maybe be a welterweight return if I ever did. But I just pretty much thanks to everybody, everybody that's there's that many people to thank. I couldn't even start naming. Thanks to everybody that's ever supported me. It's overwhelming. Even when I posted up my retirement, sometimes I think you just expect all the haters coming out and that, but and there probably was still, you always get a bit of hate or whatever, but just the amount of kind of love and support I got, saying that they're gutted, or thanks for all the memories and whatever else. So hopefully you enjoyed some of my career, and like I said, thanks to the support, whether your sponsors, fans, friends, family, management, everybody, team, coaches.
Yeah. I just think, we've spoken a few times tonight about the sacrifices that fighters go through for the sport, and just as a fan, I really appreciate it. It's my favourite thing in life is to watch fights. So thank you to you and everyone else that puts everything on the line every time you go in there.
Well, that's it. I made a good few sacrifices in my time. Missed a lot of birthdays, and even my kids' birthdays. I've missed some of them, having to be away on fight camp, and almost missed my third daughter's birth. having to go to Poland because we were worried that, you know, Natalie was going to have the baby when I was away. Luckily, obviously, she waited until I was back. But yeah, I know a lot of people would probably even do some of the sacrifices that I did, but that's kind of what makes a difference. So again, if anybody's out there trying to achieve their dreams or whatever, you know, goals, whatever it may be, you know, just remember a few things. That one, it's not going to be easy. There's going to be loads of bumps in the roads. There's going to be loads of times where you think about quitting, giving up. You know, no wanting to make sacrifices like all that. Just kind of, if you want it bad enough, then go for it. I mean, didn't make any crazy decisions that's, you know, gonna no turn out. But yeah, just go for it. I mean, you only live once, and why not? And I know that my career got turned kind of short because of my injury, but again, I only live once, and it's an experience of a lifetime. I made a name for myself, and you know, it's pretty cool that you can type my name in on Google and loads of kind of different stuff comes up. Whereas, you know, 10 years ago, if I thought you typed my name in on Google or YouTube, it was the fact that, you know, I was maybe in the jail or I'd done something. And so just kind of chase your dreams. Fucking we live what, an average 80 years maybe, and then we're not here anymore. That's it. Our life's over. So fucking try and live your life to the fullest. Chase your dreams. The sky's the limit. Like, nothing's impossible. Go for it. And whatever you end up doing, just make sure you're happy doing it. If you're not happy doing it, try and do something else that makes you happy.
Great advice.
What's that?
Oh, it's an emotional one tonight, gang. Stevie, everybody coming through now is just wishing you all the best. Yeah, all the best on a fantastic career. Peter, over to you.
Yeah, it's been emotional, and I'd like to wish you all the best on that, and I'm sure we'll get you back on soon.
Thanks, guys. And just remember, if anybody misses watching my fights or whatever, I'm sure you can still get them on Fight Pass, watch all the old fights. I'm probably going to do it as well. I've not watched any of my fights in a while, so I'll maybe do a wee, what do you call it? Like watch all through them. So thanks again for all the support, guys. Appreciate it. Peace out.